Feet. Oops. Where are the feet then? Oh, there you go.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, that was a mistake on my side. Sorry.
No
Funny. Good evening, Isaac.
Hi, feet.
Funny.
Anything come on your screen to speak, or happy just to be quiet?
Thank you for all. So much. so much, Isaac. And interest is on resting.
Yeah, really.
Thank you.
That's sweet. Yeah. Good stuff. So I'm curious if anyone got any value out of that. Oh, maybe some people did. Yeah, cool. Frank. Or Frank.
Yes. Hello, Isaac.
Hi, Frank.
Just would like to rest a bit.
Why not rest forever? Because really, it's why tie your mind to just I'm only going to rest for a short bit here. Just I'm going to rest. That's it. That was Papaji's commentary on meditation. He said, what good is it when you say I'm going to sit for an hour or 6 hours, whatever? You've already tied your mind to outside of meditation before you start. Going to rest, you just rest. That's it. No tying your mind outside of that resting. It's subtle, but it's actually really worth seeing that. Yes. If someone says to you, I'm interested in peace for a bit, for a little bit. Well, they say, yes, I'm in love with peace. It's a very different conversation. Yeah? Another image that Papaji used, which I found really valuable. He said, if someone gave you a diamond worth 50 billion euro, would you leave it lying around somewhere, or would you know where it was all the time?
I think the last one.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the question, which is more valuable, peace or 50 billion?
Peace.
Yeah, it's clear. Then you don't lose sight of that peace. Yeah, you know where it is every moment. You just with peace and love with it. For someone who's completely in love with peace, it's the end of the game. That's the end of that someone becomes peace itself. Yeah? It's like there was this one monk, a Tibetan monk, that was imprisoned and tortured by the Chinese for years. And when he finally got free, the Dalai Lama was asking him, were you ever in danger? And the monk said, yes. One time I nearly lost compassion for these people that were torturing me. Different culture, hey? Different value, different priority.
Yeah, I feel there's some kind of resistance somehow. It's like can't describe it.
It's not a problem. You just notice that there's resistance, that's all. And you notice that resistance is appearing in awareness, in peace itself. You don't have to remove the resistance to be peace. The resistance is appearing in peace itself. Yeah? Just recognizing that resistance is appearing, and it's revealing itself in this that you are. It can do nothing. Just an honoring, okay, that resistance in some way, it's trying to help. It's nothing you're doing, it's automatic, it's unconscious.
Yeah, there's showing up something like a deep doubt in if there's everything okay with me.
So that you see, once you make up your mind for peace, everything will start to show up. Everything that has been hidden in every corner. It's like if you light a house on fire, all the rats that have been hiding in the walls everywhere in that building are going to try to get out. Once you're firmly in love with peace, all the rats, all the thoughts, everything will start to show up. They cannot stay in a burning building, and you're on fire. That's it. You're on fire for truth. Every resistance, every doubt, every idea that something's wrong, it has to come, and it will come. It will show itself. And you don't touch it. You don't do anything with it. It has no home in you anymore. It has to leave. This way you don't have to look for something to work on. You don't have to do anything. You just, once that absolute, I'm in love with truth happens, that's a fire. It will burn everything. And what's real cannot be destroyed. What will come up is all the rats leaving the building, all the thought forms, all the positions, all this, whatever suppressed, it will come up. If a building's on fire, you don't run after the rats to find out what they are. Yeah? You just throw gasoline on that fire. Great funk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Suresh.
Right, guys.
Hi. Hi.
Yesterday I saw a foresight for 23 astrology, and the one guy said, if we want to do something for a better world or something like this, we can be protective for joy and love. Wow. And I thought, wow, yeah, that's what we are doing here. So, yeah, that this, yeah, that this mood is also there in the turbulence, something like this, yeah. But anyway, it's becoming better this year already. Yeah. So thank you for this again and again.
What I know is it doesn't matter, whatever's happening, stay true to peace.
Yeah.
It might get a lot more intense this year, it might
Yeah.
get easier, we don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, both goes.
Yeah.
But it
And
goes to
then-
the light. It goes to
Yeah.
the light. Mm.
Yeah.
A lot of light is also coming from prayer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for this reminder. But it really makes sense to, yeah, clear. To live peace and joy and love. Yeah. Then,
I mean, I just, I love that story of that Tibetan monk who was being tortured by the Chinese for
Mm.
years.
It's wow. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
That recognition, I will not move, I'm here. I'm that which does not move.
Mm.
That deep knowing. I'm that already. I don't have to do anything to become that. I am that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Osaka.
Swaha.
Hello. Resting,
Hi.
please.
Hmm. This guy. Hi.
Hi, Isaac. Hi. Hmm. So peace can say no. That's difficult for the system
Up till now.
up till now. Yes, I'm trying to do it, but the children and grandchildren, it's very difficult.
Up till now.
Up till now, yes, yes. I'm doing it
So,
already.
yeah,
But it's so
yeah,
painful.
and so this is the thing. It's just, like it's an opportunity.
Yes.
Just, like there's learning going on.
Mm.
And then just looking, okay, somewhere, whatever, what's the difficulty? Because it's just, no is no, yes is yes. But the difficulty would come from wanting someone to like you or
Yes,
want,
that's the one.
that's the one, yeah. And so
Yeah.
then you look at, if we don't say yes or no clearly, does that actually allow for an honest enjoyment in the moment?
No.
No, it doesn't. So it doesn't work, basically. Because what happens is, then, like the liking is for an image, not for you, not for what's real.
Yes, and there's a noticing for the system, it's very good to be alone and resting and not to do so much and not to please so much.
Yeah.
So,
And you know, it's just like yeses and nos come, and we don't need a reason for them. And it can change its mind. If a no comes and it, oh look, for now it's no, and oh, but it changed. Now it's yes. I mean,
yes, that's
yeah.
true. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so
And not to think for the other.
no, exactly.
That's
Exactly. It's just,
one also to
Yeah.
oh, they don't like that, or yes, to stay with their own system and feel that's good for the system, and
Yeah,
to be
for
at
sure.
peace with this body and with its mind.
And to take all pressure off of all ideas of having, you know,
Yes.
it's just you in the seeing. Okay, wow. Somewhere, you know,
Oh yes, it's a
It's-
seeing of being a lovely grandmother.
yeah.
Yes, to fulfill that idea. Yes,
That idea, yeah.
yeah. A good mother, being a good
Yeah.
mother.
At what cost, yeah? Then we
Yes, at
look
what
at some,
cost?
yeah. At
Yes.
what cost, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's the process at the moment.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's like, in a sense, you know, there's a natural, I could say, learning of authenticity, of just being authentic, yeah.
Mm, mm,
Without a pressure to be authentic, without any idea around it, just noticing where something is playing that doesn't really work, doesn't.
Yes, and there's something that knows it very well, when to say
Yes.
no and yes.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Mm. Thank you for helping the system. Mm.
Fun. Evangelia, and then Gaia, then Martin. Okay. Evangelia.
Good evening.
Bye.
I just want to rest a little bit. Or forever.
Only a little.
Forever and ever and ever and ever. Keep forgetting it.
That's why that question, who am I, is so deep, because in the recognition that we are that already, that is untouched, unmoving, pristine. But even this idea, I want to rest, is appearing in something much unmoving, untouchable, Otherwise, we're settling for crumbs. Eh? Oh, I had a moment of rest. I'm that in which resting happens. Untouched by any movement, any activation, anything. And I don't have to do, there is no one to do anything to be that. That idea of someone that can do something about it is false. I am that in which all experience arises, including peace, including love, including everything. It's beyond everything. And yet not separate from anything, not separate from any experience. But it's not running after any experience. It's not measuring itself by any experience.
I would like to mention two things. One has to do with Esther, which I was watching, and I was from one side, you could say she had resistance to open up to this peace, but I discovered, let's say, or I could really feel, and I don't know if it's my head, it's not only resistance. I feel that there's a very strong voice who says, help me, help me, help me, I need help. And it's justified in the level of in the psychological level. And there's this, so it was very beautiful for me it was like this. So I can still, my priority is peace, but I can still have much more compassion instead of saying, look, you put all this resistance in. And there's something.
I would never say anyone puts resistance in. I would say that if there's resistance, nobody's doing it. And
Yeah.
that resistance does get noticed. And then the question is, as it gets noticed, do you run with it and go with it, or do you rest? You stay as that which you are. Is it entertained in some way? And starting to make those distinctions. Like just checking, no matter what comes up, like I have to solve this. And just really looking, does that help in this moment? Or is it again Maya? Is it again confusion? And the only way that can work is if there's absolute interest. More than anything else. It's like, but first I've got to get, before I can be interested in peace, I first have to clean the house, and then I have to prune the orchard, and then I have to get my car serviced, and then I have to get my hair done, and then after that, peace. It'll never work.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There is no real but there's no but I just want to say that for the psychological bit, which doesn't exist, but there's something in the system when you this from its aspect, it's very harsh, you know, from the identification. What she doesn't want to, no.
If that's entertained at all, it's feeding a lie. It's like asking the question, what's the priority? It's not saying it's not okay that the system is activated. It's just asking a question. What's the priority? Is the priority working it out in this circumstance so then you can be at peace later? It's really getting clear in the moment. No, the priority is peace. What's more important than peace? Nothing. If I live or die, irrelevant. Now, I first have to deal with all my psychological problems. Nonsense. Honestly, it's nonsense. You'll be busy for 1,000 lifetimes.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying you should stop and pay attention to whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying stay in peace, but please don't take it personal that I want to stay in peace. This sort of thing, rather than I'm not going to listen to you now because I want to stay in peace. But that's nonsense.
Yeah, exactly nonsense.
Okay, I stop it. And the second thing, I just want to mention this as well. I have this stupid thought. I'm more and more convinced that my passion for this peace is an escape. And this is just a thought, of course, but if you cannot handle your life, you feel so great. I mean, there's no problem. And I interpret it for me as escaping. And this is something that bothers me. But that's how it is. It's also nonsense.
It is, yeah. So this interpretation, it's trying to help you. But what does it bring?
Destruction.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you.
for letting me being silly again and again.
Gaji.
Hi, Isaac G.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, I would like to ask your help, please, and assistance. And I need to speak a little bit to bring the context somehow.
Okay.
And I notice a lot of movement right now here. And it's about when you speak about this Tibetan monk. Each time you speak it, it touches so deep inside of me. Oh, yes. And also it creates a kind of, like Frank already was saying, a kind of being a bit wrong or being not sufficient. So, and the context is recently, or actually for a long time already, when the topic somehow in documentaries it's very, very difficult for me to stay present. And I remember the meetings with you where Jeroa was speaking a little bit. Do you remember Jeroa?
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking about what he has in his childhood. I noticed, well, if I go there, some freak out happens here. And so, and I said, oh, I can be present in a lot of stuff, but when the topic is torture, it feels like something fades away. And so recently, or yesterday evening, I saw a documentary about, yeah, somehow this kind of torture, which is happening to whole humanity through the World Economic Forum Agenda 2030. And I saw people that took the vaccination and how their life is now. Yeah? It's destroyed somehow, really. And then when I then hear the story of that monk, it makes me so much cry and feel, well, I can't, when I just feel that and hearing these people like Biden or whatever, all that they're saying, this vaccination is safe, it's a very good, and take it and go. Oh, I could kill them. That's it's like that, yeah. And then to hear that Tibetan monk, yeah. So that's, and maybe you can help me in that a little bit, really deep, but a little bit.
You know, it's kind of a paradox, in a way.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, having grown up in South Africa, I saw like young African leaders living in this horrible system where there was torture going on, where there was killing going on, where there was every kind of thing going on. So that's going on, I mean, tonight, today. And it has been going on. It's out of view for most of us. We don't actually see it. Now with this whole Agenda 21, it's become more into the, you know, people are seeing more of it, but even so, it's mostly hidden. Mostly mainstream does not cover all the people that have been injured. They do not cover all the lies that have been told by the governments. None of that's common. It's not shown. It's coming out more and more. In fact, some pretty prominent people are now going, wait.
Yeah, I'm happy for that.
And so it's, you know, and again, so, yeah. You know, it's like, I love, Thich Nhat Hanh was once talking about this, and he was saying, you know, I'm the pirate on the seas that's raping and killing people, and I'm the people that are raped and killed. I'm everything. And it's, you know, in one way, it's the same intelligence that's playing every single part in this whole drama. And we can know that. And yet at the same time, it's like we see the personification of that out of tuneness somewhere. Someone that's acting in a way that's unbelievably painful, ignorant. Then just looking, what's the priority? What's the priority? Again and again and again. And it might be the priority is like a samurai to cut off someone's head in that moment, if it was possible. That's
Oh,
just your function.
I would love
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, understand. Yeah.
And on the other hand, I know I never come even close to them to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, it's like, it's, the same story that happened when Krishna went to Arjuna and said, listen, we have to go to war now. And Arjuna said, but these are my uncles and cousins and family.
Yes.
And Krishna said, listen, here's the deal. We either go to war, you're the great warrior of the land, and now what's he talking to? He's talking to that aspect in all of us. That's the great warrior of the land. How is that warrior going to be here and engage in this? With Krishna consciousness as your charioteer. It's like, what an invitation. And now it's our turn. Yeah. It's interesting. I used to hold those retreats in South Africa. And so one year I went to the retreat center and there was a new manager there, an Afrikaans guy. And, the retreat happened in the circumstance there was a main house and like a kind of a backpackers where the meeting room was, and so the meetings were at the other place. But this manager came to me and he said, I don't know what you're doing down there, but I feel deeply touched. It's like, I'd love to be able to come and say goodbye to everybody, because it's the last meeting. And I said, with pleasure, come down. Turns out this guy had been like the head of Bureau of State Security, which was like the SS in South Africa. He'd been one of these guys that was torturing, killing. And then fighting the ANC, which was, Mandela was one of the leaders of. And when Mandela got out of jail, he asked for this guy to be in charge of his security detail. And for this guy, he went from fighting the ANC, torturing, killing, to he couldn't refuse that order. Nelson Mandela was president. And so he came into Nelson Mandela's orbit, you could say. And yeah, so when he came to the meeting to say goodbye, and I gave him the microphone, all of a sudden he started crying. And he said, I haven't cried in 40 years. He said, I used to think that the men underneath me respected me, but I see now from this place that they were just scared of me. And how to meet that being in that moment of vulnerability, yeah, it was like, wow. And having grown up in South Africa with watching that kind of unbelievable cruelty, man. So there's life doing its dance with us. And these are stories in a way, but they point at something, they touch something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a deep touch. Yeah. Yeah, thank you that I could bring that in contact here, and
Thank
great
you for bringing it. Yeah.
What did you say?
Thank you for bringing it.
Yeah, and great that I came somehow into your orbit. I don't know how I deserved that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, God. Martin.
Yes. Hi,
Hi,
Isaac.
Martin. Hi, Martin.
It's also difficult for me to be confronted with torture and war and all these things. So, a lot of coming up.
I think for all of, for, you know, most of us, you know, our generation isn't, if we've lived in the West, I think we will, you know, one of the few generations that hasn't had to deal with that at all, at least in our face.
And still we're carrying a lot of luggage. It's especially nations like Germans, yeah, they carry a lot of luggage.
No doubt. All of us. Whatever side we've been on, whether we've been the tortured or the torturers, you know.
Well, I was really touched before also when you said this resting in peace, don't make yourself dependent on someone else, or maybe some thought you have, or some circumstance.
On any circumstance,
any.
exactly. Yeah.
And you know, for me, it's always good when I can take something that I know intellectually for a long time, when I can experience it. And I had this experience today that I can rest in this peace, and then everything, that is only a small step, that everything appears in this peace. So if it is a thought, a circumstance, a human being, and it's something like to be this, to experience it, that everything appears to you.
Yeah, regardless of war or anything else,
yeah,
what we know is everyone we love has an appointment with death. Everyone.
Yeah.
Our own body will get old, most likely get some diseases. So, it's like, this is not intellectual. We know this, yeah?
Yes, yes.
And so here we are. And what's the priority? I have to know in this lifetime who I am, and the rest is that.
I felt it.
Otherwise we will be thrown by life. We will be thrown around by life. Isn't it?
Yes, it is. But for
Yeah.
me, it was never so near
Yeah.
that the feeling to rest, that is to be the peace in which everything appears.
Yes,
It's
yes,
thing.
exactly. Exactly.
So when I be that, I can do whatever I did before,
Exactly.
but I just be it. And when I'm killed in war or torture,
Now
could have
just
done it.
remove the when.
Yes.
And be it. That's it.
Yeah.
I am that.
I was it all the time and will it be. Just important to
recognize.
not to forget it. Not to forget
Yes,
it.
exactly. To recognize it, to absolutely know it. Yeah. Doesn't matter what comes up on the screen. Doesn't matter how many times the system, whatever movements happen or triggering happens, doesn't matter. I'm that in which it all appears. Simple.
It might be cruel, it might be nice, whatever.
Doesn't matter. Not in our control. You can see people, like what's happening. People have been living in Lithuania. Okay, there was mafia, there was everything going on, and then next thing, war. Same thing for the Russians. So, it's like this. The same story has repeated itself how many times? Again and again. Germany, peaceful country, people, civilized, all that. The next thing, war. Same thing, India. Suddenly the British come. I mean, it's just the story of womankind, yeah. It's caught in Maya, caught in illusion. Yeah. There has to be that interest. I'm using this lifetime to know peace, to know love.
But it's such a difference. Like when I was very young already, I was really interested in fighting for peace, really.
Mhm.
But it's such a difference to do that. And now I still say try to, but I just want to, to be peace. It's such a difference.
Exactly. It's such a difference. A huge shift in context, the recognition. I'm that. Already.
it really makes me happy. Thanks a lot, Isaac.
Thanks, Martin. Yeah. Judith.
Hi, Isaac.
Judith.
It's such a deep touch hearing you speaking with a kind of fierceness and penetrating where it is about. Yeah. I don't understand the tears, but just here they are.
They're beautiful tears,
Yeah.
Judith. Let them roll.
And we are not separated from peace. I'm here.
It's, in a way, it's interesting to look at the trajectory of mankind,
Yeah.
We went from hunter-gatherers to tribes, to kingdoms, to corporations, this trajectory, yeah? And at the moment, I think everybody knows the way that we've been functioning this cannot continue. And, I don't think there's any argument about that. We know the way we've been functioning cannot. And then, of course, you get some aspects of humanity that want to solve the problem one way. And yet there's a great intelligence that's kind of doing its dance. As far as I understand it, the financial system is broken. It's absolutely broken. And most people don't realize it. You go and you spend this paper that's not worth anything, that's just made up by the banks, basically.
Mm.
And the system is broken. And so people are desperately trying to find, wow, what's going to happen when the world finds out that it's bankrupt? And so one of the, at least this is the story that I think is happening, this whole COVID story was to try and distract people from that. And get people used to kind of following rules so that somehow we can manage this transition. But the, you know, the same trajectory that brought us to this point is now trying to manage itself with these funny other things. It's clearly not going to work, in my view. Is it bad? Is it good? It's just what's happening. Can we remain as peace in all these, everything that's rising? Because it's, I tell you, we're in the midst of some very big waves.
And it brings
get
out
scared.
even more passion for truth. Because it's the only resort. It's the
That's the
only
only
resort.
resource. If we don't know
know?
that, we'll be swept away. And
Oh my God, we will.
yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, there's so many things happening. You know, somehow people keep sending me these video clips. So I kind of, I don't go looking for it. I could say it like that, but yeah. I think it's, I sort of say like 800,000 of the really rich in China are all trying to get out of China at the moment. So that's what's happening. And then this guy, Jordan Peterson, who, I don't know, you know who Jordan Peterson is? Anyway,
No.
very famous psychologist. He's world renowned, you could say like that. He's a Canadian psychologist, and he's been speaking. He has a huge following. He's been very outspoken, and he's been speaking, and now they want to re-educate him in Canada. He's been speaking about and this guy's got a huge following, and he's absolutely grounded and not conspiracy. He's just, anyway, so there's so many, the system is creaking at the seams. It's just like this amazing time to be alive. And
yeah,
so a lot of people are just not aware of any of the things that are going on. And some people are a little bit aware of it. And I think I'm a little bit aware of it. I've certainly huge protests in China. They're not allowed to protest. But this, it looks like millions of people on the streets with pieces of white paper because they're not allowed to hold signs. So they're there with blank pieces of paper. Huge movements happening all over the planet. We don't see it because the mainstream media is completely bought and corrupted. But all over the world, huge protest marches. There have been marches in the Netherlands, I know that. There have been marches, you know, all over the world. And yet, you know, mostly we don't see it, we don't know it. If it's not happening on your street in front of you, you don't see it. So here we are.
And I know what I love. I know what I love.
That's
you know,
all.
that's in the
That's it.
midst of all this, I know what I love.
That's it.
And
Simple.
that's, yeah, that's the resort, and that's where my attention is, and my passion and love. Yeah. In the midst of all.
in the midst of all.
We are here. And so grateful that we can do this together.
Yeah.
It's a big gift.
And you know, again, it's like I can just see some people have an interest in what kind of getting some overall glimpse of what's going on, and some people don't have an interest. And it's totally okay.
Yeah,
Just
I
is
have
like that.
awareness of it. I
Mhm.
know about it. There's no resistance about
Yeah.
that, what is happening. It knows.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
Yeah.
need to be involved in the depth.
It doesn't need to be involved, and that's totally, I totally respect it. That's
Yeah. Because it knows what it loves, and
that's it.
that's it. Yeah. Mm.
So I'm so curious to see, you know, it's like how life manages to take this next step. I mean, you know, for hundreds of years, women couldn't vote until enough women just said no.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
there were slaves until enough people just said end.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We're watching this movie.
And it is strong as well.
And it's strong. It's just
Whoa.
wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Big issues, big changes that need to happen. And so beautiful over and over again to find rest.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, thank you. You too. I mean, when I speak the way I do about the world situation, I don't know how it sits with everybody in our Sangha, but I'm not asking you to agree with me or disagree with me. I'm just telling you how it seems to me. And maybe it's useful to you, maybe not. So, cool. Definitely. Oh, you just disappeared. I only see your name. Ah, there you're back.
And I have to make
Ah.
you big
Cool.
now.
Yeah.
So much love in the midst of all this.
Okay.
Wow,
Amazing, huh?
amazing.
Yeah.
I feel in the daytime, I'm not so busy with the whole situation, but deep down, it's I'm aware. And last night I had a very, very long and intense nightmare about the whole situation. Nightmare is maybe the wrong word, I don't know, but it was just very intense facing and being aware and what's happening. I'm so happy that you are also so aware of what's happening now. I remember maybe 2 years ago, some of your old friends, who's not anymore, gave me a call and he said, "Oh, did you heard about Isaac? He's now he's how do you say, Verschwörungstheoretiker? How do you conspiracy? Yeah. And I thought, wow, that's good news. It sounds like he's, and then I got to Google you again, and I'm so happy. Yeah.
I mean, it's so amazing, it's like I still get messages from people who came and are grateful for what happened for them in the meeting, and they say, you're spreading dangerous misinformation. I go, okay, well, I guess that's your perspective. If the only source of information is mainstream media, of course you're going to have that perspective. Understand it. And if you're open, why don't you take a look at this? Just with an open mind, look at it. This is another perspective. If you like, if you don't.
And they only can if they can. So it's
that's it.
It's very simple.
Yeah. And the love is, it's food. It's just
I didn't hear it.
the love.
Mm-hmm.
The love is food. It's just, we can live on it.
Yeah. And amazing, whatever comes on the screen, or this is always pulling me back. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. Luckily.
Michael.
Hello, Isaac.
Hi.
Miracles to you in the new year.
Ah,
And I
every
want
second.
to rest with you.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. What do you notice?
Feeling very wide and big,
Yeah,
beyond time, beyond space.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So thank you, Isaac.
Thank you. Boss, thank you so much for hosting. Thank you, beloveds, for showing up and exploring and holding each other's hands. Yeah. Beauty.